Hey, this your girl, msyelladiva. I am bringing you another episode of And Just Like That, Season 3, Episode 10, Better Than Sex. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome. We do reviews here. I appreciate y'all immensely. All right. And if you are returning, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back, okay? I'm kind of upset that, this show is not going to return. This is the last season. Carrie doesn't want to play Carrie anymore. So this is the last season. And I'm kind of hurt about that. I really want Lisa's family, to have a spinoff. I do. I do want Lisa's family to have a spinoff. I I guess Charlotte can be in there too, because Charlotte got some crazy kids and stuff. Miranda can go. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Miranda can go. Okay. And Seema. She ain't got nothing going on either. She can go too. Okay. Yeah. But that's that's my opinion. But yeah, this is the last season of And Just Like That. Sorry. Anyway, give me a thumbs up. Like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel, and we will begin. All right. So Carrie sitting, of course, sitting by the window like she always do and writing. And then she's printing, but Duncan's downstairs. I'm trying to figure out. I said, oh, okay, Duncan downstairs and stuff. And did Aiden take the table with him? Okay, did that? Because that's not the same table. That that Aiden brought you um, for this house. Did he take the table with him since he bought it? Because I was just like, where the table at? Anyway, you made such a big deal about the table. I'm just saying. Anyway, it's a different table. But he over there reading her pages and everything like that. And he's so impressed. And he was like, it's scotch worthy. So while he walked into um, uh, Carrie's bar area and pour himself a scotch, where they do that at? Where they do that at? Okay. You should have said, can I pour myself a drink? Okay. Because he just went in there like, hey, I know where this is. I know where this is. And then he only poured the scotch for him. He ain't poured the scotch for Carrie so that they can toast. I was like, well, what was the purpose? It's scotch worthy, but I thought, y'all was going to toast. Anyway. So, like I said, he don't pour Carrie no drink. He poured himself a drink, and then Carrie calls him out on it, talking about, well, can I get a drink? So he was just like, oh, my bad. So then he gonna try to flex, talking about, I got 5 bestsellers. Carrie says I got 7. and then she said, and you do biography. She was like, the plot has already been written. I know that's right, girl. I know that's right. Yeah, okay. The plot has already been written. So you already got your stuff. I had to make the whole plot up. Bitch. Okay. Anyway, um, Brady is cooking dinner for his parents. First of all, Steve over there, and he was just like, hey, you done furnished this apartment real good. And she was like, it has, the furniture came with it. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, cause we had spent 2 years on picking out a couch. I said, oh, was it that deep? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So Brady cooking dinner for Miranda and Steve, and he said that he wasn't going to work at Scout anymore. He was going to go to culinary school. That's his passion. And everybody was like, yay, yay. And so Okay. And so then he dropped a bomb. I got a girl pregnant. I got a girl pregnant. Okay. And so Steve is furious at him. He was like, "Why do you ain't have $2 for a rubber? What's going on?" It's like, mm. So, um, Miranda was like, "Well, what's her name?" And he said Mia, and she was like, "What's the last name?" She was like, He was like, "You don't know the last name of your girlfriend?" He said, "It wasn't my girlfriend. It was just a hookup. Well, I hooked up with her a couple times and stuff like that." They was like, "Oh my god." Then she said, and then Brayden said that, well, she doesn't want me involved. She didn't, she didn't want to tell me, and she really don't want me involved. So Steve is furious. He was like, the mother. She said, what he said, the mother doesn't want to be with you. He said, don't you know how messed up that is? But then Brady was like, "Well, I'm not talking about you and mom." And he was like, "Oh no, it ain't. Me and her because he said I at least knew her last name, and I was in love with her. Okay, so you don't even know her last name. Plus, you don't even like her. You don't even know her real good. Steve said I was in love with your mama, and I knew her last name. So it ain't nothing like that. So then so he was so Brady. I mean, yeah, Brady was just like, man, I don't know, Dad, I don't know. And he said, if you shrug your shoulders one more time, he said, I'm gonna fucking lay you out. I said, ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking lay you out. I said, ooh. So Brady got scared. He walked out the door. He's like, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. Whoo. So Miranda, when Steve leave, Miranda calls her girls, Carrie and Charlotte. What the hell did they have on? Carrie had on a little sweater and some tights. Okay. Miranda had on something that didn't look like it didn't go. I mean, it was all bad. Now Shirley had on some little librarian sweater. That's how she normally look. But uh, Miranda and Carrie, what the hell did y'all have on? Anyway, but she just tell them that, Brady got a girl pregnant and her name is Mia and we don't even know nothing about her. And she worked at some kind of hair salon. Okay, so that's all the information they get. Anyway, so Anthony and Giuseppe decide to move in because Giuseppe walked in because first of all his roommate is older, real old, probably about 70. Okay, older than Anthony. He may have been, he may have been 70, and he is a puppeteer. And he literally has a puppet that looks just like Giuseppe with his big package, okay? With his big package, okay? So Giuseppe walks in on him, pleasuring himself with that puppet. Looking at that puppet, okay? Yeah. So they decided to move in together. Okay. Anthony asked him, and he said no until he saw him pleasuring himself. And he was like, never mind. I'll move in. No problem. So Charlotte trying to get a Zoom call in. But they tearing down that wallpaper that she done had since Trey, um, since she was since she redecorated with Trey. Yeah, they finally pulling down that wallpaper. We don't know what's going up with that wallpaper, but they pulling that wallpaper down. And so then the the kids, what's her name? Rock and Harold, Lisa's son, they over there tap dancing, trying to, I don't know. They tap dancing for some reason. I don't know. And then Harry is watching football. So she got a Zoom call that she won off an auction. Auction. What the hell is an auction? An auction for $40. Okay, so since this this Zoom call is the energy cleansing or whatever. And so she bid $40 and nobody else bid, so she won it. And so then the lady kind of irritated it because I don't know how much she charges for her services, but she got this $40 call now that Charlotte has, and so she kind of a little irritated. So she won't turn on her camera. She said, "You." I think it's a 60 minute. She said, "You got you," and she started the clock, and so, but Charlotte can't, get no peace because she was like, you got to meditate and everything like that. She can't meditate with all the stuff going on. And so she had to reschedule and she had to reschedule. And so by the time she rescheduled, it was like 12 minutes. But um, but she did reschedule. It was 12 minutes. And then she was over Carrie's house because Carrie ain't got ain't nobody in her house. So she was over Carrie's house and she rescheduled and then she broke down about Harry and his diagnosis and that she couldn't tell anybody. And so then the lady turned on her camera. She gave her a full energy cleanse for that 60 minutes. And because she was mad, and then she was like, I'm sorry, she said we can get what she say she we can get immune when to people's pain and stuff like that. And, with Zoom calls, she was like, so she said, well, I'm gonna give you your full 60 minutes. So she gave her energy cleanse. I don't know if that worked. Okay, but it is what it is. So Miranda and Charlotte try to sneak up on Mia. Okay, so they go to the salon, and they was like, we want an appointment with this stylist called Mia. She was just like, I don't have no stylist called Mia. I got a shampoo girl. This name Mia, and she walked from the back. She was like, "Did I hear my name?" So yeah, she is clearly pregnant. So she's shampooing Miranda, farting all over the damn place. Just tearing it up. Just tearing it up, okay? Just farting. And so Miranda trying to question her, about who the father and do you know who the father is? Da 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 da. And so she was just like, oh, why do why we got this line of questioning? So Miranda gives up the ghost, and she was just like, I'm Brady's mama, and then she waterboarded her, basically spray all water in her face while she was trying to shampoo her. So you know, I don't know what is to become of this. Okay, I think we got some more episodes. I don't think this is the last episode, but it still ain't coming back. So yeah, I don't know what's to become of that situation. Anyway, so Duncan, he waiting downstairs, um, and so Carrie's printer's messed up. So he comes upstairs to fix the printer, and then he sees her closet. And so he was just like, he's impressed with her closet. And so Carrie loved it because, he impressed with him. So then she was like, she took him to the shoe closet. And so he over there talking on the phone in her shoes and stuff. So he really impressed about his shoes. so, so he invited her to some publishing dinner party. He said, I'm gonna pay, I can pay you. And she was like, write a blank check. So, I can do what I need to do. We don't know what happened with that. Okay, so Lisa, daughter Gabby, lost the gerbil in Lisa's closet. Okay. The gerbil is named Shirley. Okay. And all I can think about is Barbara, the Shirley. It's a cleanup woman. Barbara the Shirley. Oh, anyway, so the what's the name? The thing is gerbil's named Shirley. And so Lisa go to hell off on her like Steve did Steve did Brady, okay? She was like, this is what she said. She said, why did you do something so stupid? So stupid. She said, I am furious at you. Yes, honey. and she probably want to lay her the fuck out too. But she ain't grown yet. She ain't grown yet. So yeah, so Harold come. Well, first of all, Harold's mama come in. She was like, "Is that how you talk to your kids?" So she get the baby, the girl out, and she walk her out. So Harold come in, and he was like, "What's going on?" She was like, "I feel so bad. I yelled at her." He was like, "Yeah, I heard." And so he was like, "Well, listen." He said, "You're not gonna be, super mom tonight." He was like, "You're human. It's okay. It's all right. You human." And so that was the end of that. And so then Seema and Adam still smashing. And so she leaves downstairs. Oh, first of all, he got a rent control apartment that she mad about. That she mad about because he paid $900 for that beautiful, beautiful apartment. $900. She was like, "Fuck you! I'm mad as hell." I listen, that doggone apartment is clearly $5,000 and above. Okay, and he paid $900. I would live in that. I would die in that apartment. Okay, and then I'll give it to my child. Okay, come live here for $900. Okay, yes, and I think that's what how Adam's mom did. I think she passed away from cancer, and that apartment went to him. Yes, $900. Anyway, um, but he has a plant, that's by the window, and he said, "This is mom." Da, da, da. I hope the ashes wasn't in that plant, okay? Because Seema over here trying to get a smoke, and she knocked the damn plant out the window. All leaves and bits, and all of it is on the street now, okay? Roots and leaves. I hope her ashes wasn't in that pot because that pot broke. Okay, so anyway, so after that, she basically ghosted him. She was like, I can't deal with it. She said I can't even take her calls. So he showed up at her business, place of business, and he was like, "What's going on?" And she was like, "Well, I killed your mama." And then the assistant like, "What?" She said figuratively, baby, figuratively. He was like, oh, he said, because I done signed a 2 month lease. You can't go to jail. You can't go to jail because I done seen that signed a two-year lease. That wasn't a 2 month. It was 2 year lease. Okay, but he said, he brought her a small pot of his mama. Okay, and put it on. I think she brought her a couple small pots of his mama and put it in her office. I don't know about that. Seema says she can't keep no plants alive like Carrie. So you better come in there and water it, and, give them plant food and stuff. Cause I don't know, what Seema gonna do. Anyway, um, but then they make up. Anyway, so Carrie. Oh, like I said, Charlotte did her Zoom call over Carrie's house. And so, but then Carrie was talking to Charlotte, and she says, Carrie said Duncan invited her to a publishing party, and so Charlotte was like, great, and everything like that, and well, she said, I kind of went off on Miranda because she said that there was some energy or some chemistry between me and Duncan. And she said Aiden thought that too. And so Charlotte was like, only if there's some chemistry between you and Duncan. And she said, and fuck Miranda. And fuck Aiden. Shit. If you like them, this is what she wanted to say. If you like them, smash them. That's what she wanted to say. She ain't say it because she proper like that, but she did say fuck Miranda. I'll tell you that. Okay, so then um so Herbert lost the election on this comptroller uh thing. Okay. The mama was like, we always win. Wesley's always win and all that other stuff. And then they came back on the elevator sad and stuff because he didn't win. Okay. He didn't win no comptroller. And then Lisa said, well, you didn't win the comptroller. You are human. Just like he said about being super mom. And you human. She flipped the script and said, "You didn't win comptroller, so you're human too." Hey, hey, I get it, I get it, I get it. So, um, they're at the publishing party. Okay, so Carrie. Okay, so Emma Jean is Duncan's publisher, and he didn't meet the deadline for his book, and so they got to extend the deadline. And so Emma Jean is also Duncan's ex-wife. Okay, Duncan's ex-wife. Okay, so then she see Carrie coming in, and she was just like, who invited Carrie Bradshaw? Oh, she's stunning. And she look at her dress and all that other stuff. Who invited Carrie Bradshaw? So she fanning out about Carrie Bradshaw. And so Duncan was like, I invited her. She's my neighbor. She's my upstairs neighbor. And so she was like, okay. So then he calls Carrie over. And so he introduces her to Emma Jean. Emma Jean gives her a card in case you ever in the UK and you want a book published, let me know. Let me know. And so also Duncan and Duncan tell him that she is his ex-wife. Okay. So Imogene leaves, and then Duncan and Carrie have a drink, and then Duncan was like, you want to go somewhere? And she said, yeah. So they go back to the apartment, and First, Carrie, when he said, "You want to come downstairs because I'm done writing." Okay, so that that's code for come get this dick. Okay, but she was like, "No, no, no, no." And so then she thought about it. She was like, "I think I'm gonna come get this dick," and that's what they did. Okay, so they smashed. Okay, they smashed. But what's the name? Duncan is going back to London next week. And he said he not returning because Carrie is a distraction. So if he return to that house that he paid for, he just want he coming to smash Carrie and hang out with Carrie, and he ain't gonna do no writing. Basically what he trying to say. Okay. So he said he not returning. Probably not to that apartment. He may go return it to Chicago or something, but he not returning to that apartment because he gonna want to return because Carrie live upstairs. Then they gonna smash. So yeah. So we'll see. We'll see about if Carrie gonna go to London. I don't know why. I don't know why. Why you gonna go to London when you got that big beautiful house? And we're gonna see if Duncan wants her to come to London because he didn't say he wanted her to come to London. He just said he wasn't coming back there. Anyway, that was the end of the episode. So give me a thumbs up, like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.